Welcome to episode 168 of Drew's Sports Crew here on this Tuesday late afternoon. Look, I'm bringing you another episode, just kind of with Memorial Day weekend and such impacted here scheduling, but I'm happy to be back here on this Tuesday to discuss, right, a remarkable Monday, historic Monday for the Milwaukee Brewers, of course, a great Memorial Day as well. I just want to take a moment too to just thank the men and women who have served our country, everyone who has served us here, and um, right, they're heroes, they're true heroes, and just that's what Memorial Day is about. Just thanking everyone who has served our country, and want to acknowledge that here. But otherwise, want to touch on, of course, the Brewers, how it's gone, right? Games here throughout this week. And then also scheduling here. Looking at an episode of Journey to Million, hopefully tomorrow night. Unsure on time, but keep that in mind. Looking forward to that. Myself, Drew Skyberg, with Zach Roush, Jared Waleski, the squad. We'll be talking fantasy football, dynasty. It's that time of the year. But yeah, I've been breaking down, of course, how the Brewers have gone, and then also I've been doing, right? I mean, there's a baseball content came out today. I did a little MLB ranking. Check that out. Rank 5 teams without knowing the next one. Classic one. I have an NFL fan base one coming out. Ranking NFL fan bases. That one's fun. That'll be out Thursday. Check that out. At Drew Sports Crew, Instagram, right? Facebook, YouTube. It's Drew Sports Crew, but find it anywhere. TikTok as well. Drew's Sports Crew. Just want to highlight those. But otherwise, those are the main announcements, right? To check out and check out content and such. So thank you for that. I did have a grid. I had a grid last week. I was like, we gotta do grids. It's that time of the year where there's not a lot of football news, Packer OTAs, nothing really like I gotta tell you guys, and nothing really with basketball either with the Bucks. Nothing right now until playoffs end. So we're waiting another month basically. So let's get into it. It's gonna be a shorter episode with that. We're gonna do a little immaculate grid to kick us off here. Haven't really looked at it. I did see the Brewers were on it, so I'm excited to do that part of the grid. But let's pull it up. Here is your immaculate grid. Right away, Brewers, Boston. I see one I can just use that. We just came out. Chase Anderson. Chase Anderson was for both. I wonder if that's kind of obvious. I feel like Jeff Bianchi. So I don't know if you guys remember Jeff Bianchi. I've used him before. I think he played for either the Braves or Boston or both. He actually might play for all three of those teams. I'm not too confident in that, so I would just go with Chase Anderson. All reliable, 0.4%. Washington. Washington, Boston. Right away, when I see Washington, I always try to use Denard Span. It just is such a great answer all the time. I think Ben Revere works top middle, but I don't quote me on it. Brewers, Braves. Hi, Jared. Brock Holt works in the middle. Great. Wait, Brock Holt worked? Oh, Brock Holt would be middle left. We could use Brock Holt. Could bring him in. Looking at it. Brewers, Braves. There's a Contreras as the obvious. Oh. Looking for relievers. Is there any Jesse Chavez here? You're saying Holt played for Washington too? A Brewer Silver Slugger. Here, I'm going to just do this one. I want to say Sexton won one, but I'm not. Don't quote me on it. It's one of those. Oh, Jared did this grid yesterday. Oh, Jared, cheater. Did Cecil Cooper win a Silver Slugger? I'm going to chase upside here then. This might be a mistake. No, it's not. A ball nowhere. Ball nowhere indeed. Washington Silver Slugger. Ugh. This includes those Expo days, so Vlad's the cop out. I know this is going to be unpopular, but I'm doing it. 9% only, really, people. Step it up. Okay. You're saying Holt works here, Jared? Really? I guess so. Just like in football, don't doubt you. Washington, Atlanta. Um, hmm. These first base ones, I'm just gonna go through and name some guys. Make it quick. I was thinking like if Travis d'Arnaud played first base for them, like a catcher who has played first. Silver Slugger at first base. I'm gonna say Derek Lee did it. 29. Boston Silver or Boston has played first base. Napoli. Atlanta first base. Okay. Atlanta Brave, obviously Freddie Freeman, Ryan Reynolds, so we know those guys. Utility guy who's had to fill in at first before. I bet d'Arnaud's played at first before. I know it's such a cop out to say a catcher probably has played there, but I would be pretty confident in it. That was bad. I should not have done that. All right, a Brewer Brave. Bianchi didn't. Okay, I botched this one, Jared. Brave Brewer. Oh, Ben Sheets did. Did Loesch, Garza? Oh, I'm just gonna put Ben Sheets. That's gonna be high probably. It wasn't high. Who is obviously okay. I did good. I'm happy with the result on this grid. 2%, 0.4, 0.62, 49, 0.9. Pretty good. All right, let's talk about the beloved Brewers, how it's gone. You know the drill. So a thrilling win yesterday, Monday, Memorial Day. As you all know, is the Craig Council return. There's some guys on X made a Brewer parody, a Brewer or a Craig Council diss track they called it. You can check that out. That was something. It was something. It was a 3.5 minute long thing. People were wearing shirts, posters, the whole 9 yards. We saw at American Family Field. Jared was there too. But the boos were some of the loudest boos I've seen. I saw some people compare it like this blew away the Manny Machado boos. I mean, like the last 10 years, this blew everything away. People did mention I did see this on X and other places. Barry Bonds got booed in Milwaukee in '07. I wasn't around for this, but supposedly it was as loud as the council, or maybe not as loud. But I have a hard time believing that. But I do believe that Bonds did get booed. So that was something I was like, well, I guess I was trying to think like who has gotten booed as loud as the guy like Machado, right? A Machado or Pujols or something like that. But I mean, crazy to see. But the Brewers do get the win yesterday, and the story is the Cubs have Cubs have lost 8 games with leads in the 7th inning and beyond, I believe, or 7 it might be. But the point is, that's been the story for the Cubs, and this isn't a Cubs podcast, and it never will be. But I do want to mention like the Brewers got the Cubs at a good time, but the Brewers also have gotten to the Cubs bullpen. The Brewers have not scored a single run off of Chicago Cubs starting pitchers in the 4 games they played this year. The reason they haven't is because the starters have played well. Justin Steele pitched an absolute gem yesterday. He had all pitches working, but the bullpen has been the sore spot for this Cubs team. It is atrocious. You could say it's the guy managing their bullpen. There actually is some points to that. There's been some questionable decisions. Pat Murphy, right? I mean, what we've seen with Pat Murphy is, I want to mention this. Like Brian Hudson comes in the 7th yesterday, and this is a specific moment where it's like, okay, maybe the numbers say, you don't go with Murphy. There was a bunch of guys who were coming up it was right, like Seiya Suzuki was the middle of the Cubs lineup. It was Suzuki. I mean, Swanson was in there as well, along with Belly, and he made the decision. Pat Murphy did to bring in Brian Hudson, a lefty, and it was like, huh, you have a guy who, rather than playing matchups, right? Okay, a lefty's batting, 2 righties are up, but I want to play those matchups. I want to bring in the right-handed guy. Murphy goes to his best guy. And that was a crucial seventh inning. First and second, nobody out for the Cubs. Gets out of it. Brian Hudson does. Um, Jared says Hudson reliever of the year right now. Yeah, I mean right now in the National League, it's him and Emmanuel Clase with the Guardians. That's how dominant it's been for Hudson, and definitely all star we're looking at. And overall with the team, I mean his wins above replacement. So that's a stat we like to use here on the pod. It's when you're third on the team, third on a team that's in first place in your division, in WAR, you're ahead of guy. He's ahead of a shortstop, and we know shortstops with WAR tend to be heavily rated because they're playing one of the toughest positions, as well as catcher. Right, their defense is rated heavily, and we see Hudson as a middle reliever with a 1.7 WAR. That is good for third on the team. Bryce Terang with a 2.2 WAR is second. You know who is number one. William Contreras has a 2.5 WAR already. If he has a 5 WAR season here, we're looking at the catcher position. A 5 WAR season could lead to a most valuable player award um, at that position. And depending how your team does, that usually means it's a good thing. And we're looking at that. Joey Ortiz is number 5 on the team, 1.2 WAR. Another beautiful thing to see. We're seeing Robert Gasser already, because when you have that many quality starts and they lead to team wins, that's going to do good things for your wins above replacement. He's at 0.7. This metric, wins above replacement, helps weight players' value based on position. So it's really valuable in terms of, hey, I want to know how the impact this guy has on the team, but he plays this position compared to this guy, like a catcher versus reliever. So, yeah, Jared, Pat Murphy, manager of the year, could happen. I'm hoping for it. And yeah, some people predicted that as well. But so going through his past week, so you might be wondering why is Jared Koenig on the thumbnail? Jared Koenig was the opener for back-to-back games Friday, Saturday in Boston. He's the first Brewer to start back-to-back games since Zach Greinke. Those are the only two in franchise history. It used to be the classic trivia question, whether it was like a bar trivia or something, was always, who's the only Brewer to start back-to-back games? And it was Zach Greinke getting ejected and then pitching the next game because he appealed. If there's any suspension involved. And that was in 2012. We now see Koenig back-to-back. Brewers, Pat Murphy going opener. The brilliance behind this is the Red Sox load their top 3, top 4 lineup with actually left-handed hitters. Jarren Duran, Rafael Devers, Masataka Yoshida. Guys like that are usually batting in the top of the order for the Boston Red Sox. And Koenig came in, and Koenig's actually basically a lefty specialist, I would say. I mean, I think that's where his most value comes. He's not like a Hudson type. We know that. But he delivers. He delivers quality back-to-back times. I know he didn't make it the full inning start one, but valuable getting outs there. You need out getters. That's actually, not to bring Craig Counsell back into this, but I mean, this was really what Craig was known for in 2018, 2019 was, hey, I got bullpen guys. We need outs. We're going to have out getters. We're going to have guys get us outs when we need them most. So that's kind of what we saw with, that's what we see with Murphy a little bit. I mean, you could say there's a little bit there. And Jared just throws another great stat out. 3-0 home run by Willie was only his 10th time in his career swinging 3-0. Yeah, he hardly swings. I mean, he swings a lot, but patient 3-0 hitter. But I do feel Willie, when he can take his crack at it, he will. Wasn't necessarily a bad pitch, but he was sitting low and happened to be off speed, kind of hung middle plate. Pretty good to take it out center. That Miami series we kind of talked about last Tuesday, just a series you kind of want to forget that Wednesday was a fluke game. Good series in Boston. Good start to the Monday game. And then this week it's 6:40 tonight, Tuesday, against Cubs again. You know it. And then Wednesday, 6:40 as well. I saw. 6:40. And then 12:10 on Thursday. So that's what we're looking at. And then we have a 3-game series against the White Sox. So you see that gets us into June. Friday, it's 7:10. The White Sox have been arguably worse than the Marlins right now. So this is a must win. 3:10 Saturday game, Dollar Dogs. People are going to be there. I will not be, unfortunately, but I know people will. And then historic Lou Gehrig Day on Sunday. What a treat at the ballpark, 1:10. Ideally, I'm going to try to record Sunday night, Monday next week. So we'll break down the upcoming Phillies series. That's going to be tough. At Philly, at Detroit next week, 6 games. But rest of this week, I mean, I'm pretty bullish on this week. If you saw the record slash schedule preview, we're looking at hopefully the goal was really 5-2-6-1. Like, we're being aggressive this week. The scary game is tomorrow. It's where Shota Imanga. It's with Shoto Imanga. I always butcher, unfortunately, his name. I respect his. He's a phenomenal pitcher with the Cubs, and he's been phenomenal so far this year. He's been better than Yoshiba Yamamoto, and really seeing him pitch has been spectacular. And that's going to be something that the Brewers are going to struggle probably with. Bryce Wilson going for them. I really like the matchup tonight, Ben Brown versus Freddie Peralta. Be watching that here. And then Tyone and Colin Ray on Wednesday. That game could get maybe some runs, I think. I'm hoping that game's the one with runs. Steele and Gasser was just ultimate duel. It was similar guys just going at it, and it was really good to see. But that's really the update there on the schedule side. We talked stats, talked about Koenig, his work. That was a theme last week. Really, I mean, Joey Ortiz, we give him love on the pod every week, but Ortiz is having a top 10 rookie season right now out of all in Major League Baseball. I mean, he's been one of the best rookies in Major League Baseball. He's going to get Rookie of the Year votes. Seeing how he's performed has been crucial to this team's success, especially filling that void at third that historically has been a void. Looking at Rhys Hoskins, the chance Hoskins returns this weekend is what I'm seeing is a possibility. He's a guy who you really want to have back. I can tell you that. Jake Bauers, we're also Jake Bauers stands here on the pod, but Bauers lefty batting him daily. I mean, Murphy mentioned this in his post-game interview yesterday. You're going against the numbers. You really are batting Bauers, and he's mentioned Terang in there. Terang's hung in there against lefties this year, and I think he's been actually a guy you can start every day now, kind of like Yelich. But Jared points out we probably own the Burns trade right now. He's probably right. It depends if the Orioles are able to re-sign him is kind of what we're looking at. I know this isn't a betting show, right? I mean, sometimes we throw some odds in here, but the Brewers especially. Jared, I'm looking at right now Jake Fraley. Jake Fraley for his career is 5 for 7 with like 2 or 3 home runs off of Kyle Gibson for his career. And with that, he has been the exit velo numbers have been good. That's like my bullish one. I did take Paul Goldschmidt yesterday, and he had a home run first at bat, so that was pretty cool to see. So I was like, he's probably going deep today. Sure enough, he did. So that was cool. First at bat again. But yeah, usually betting on players in good weather conditions where they have good matchups tends to be good fortune for many. So that's kind of where I was going. Kind of fading the Brewer game here with the limited history on Brown. Obviously, this would be a Jake Bauers day if you're looking at him, but it's a good matchup for Bauers. But I haven't really looked too much in the Brewers on that specifically. But that's the first one that came in my head. Not really looking at basketball, but otherwise, that's kind of where it's at. Starting pitching, I did want to mention 2 more things. Thing one was Joe Ross was actually throwing a little bit, and Jacob Junis, I believe, too. Having Junis potentially back. I know it's 60-day IL. It wouldn't be probably for another month, is what I assume. But at least progress for him. Woodruff was playing catch today, is the other thing, too. Like, there's some guys who we expect to have back down the road who we would ideally want to have and see those guys. One last thing. Enoli Paredes. He pitched on, I believe it was Sunday against the Red Sox. That is a name I want you guys to keep in mind. Enoli Paredes. He's got some wicked stuff. There's some swing and miss in with what he can bring as a pitcher. He's a guy who I'm afraid he might be like the Admiral Uribe, who has this filthy stuff, but when it's not there, it's not there. It could be disastrous. But Paredes is a guy who can give you 2 innings. He did on Sunday, and he's someone just keep in the back of your head. I think he's actually going to be a feasible option in the bullpen moving forward. I think we're going to see him more. So just keep Enoli Paredes in your mind. That's all I got, though, right? Again, at True Sports Group, check it out. More content. But otherwise, have a great rest of your week, everyone. We'll be back here Wednesday. Jared, myself, Zach Roush. But that'll wrap it up here for myself, Drew Skyberg, here on this Tuesday afternoon. Thank you all for listening to yet another episode of Drew Sports Crew, the perfect podcast for you.